Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this first episode of the Max Vasconcelos Show. I'm your host, Max, and this is a place that I've always wanted to be in terms of a creator. I've been creating content for a while, over 4 years now, as well as I've been editing for other creators and things of that nature. I've tried all sorts of different types of things in all sorts of different types of formats. I've tried very structured formats. I've done a lot of different things on YouTube in terms of creating content. This is the first time I've given myself a space to really just be me. And I know that sounds weird because my intentions with YouTube has never been to be a fake person. I don't really edit my videos in terms of like cutting them in the sense that like I'm gonna cut out my mannerisms, right? I'm not gonna cover up my imperfections. I'm just gonna be me, and you're gonna love me or you're gonna hate me, but this is just who I am, right? I love to joke around, have a good time, and I love to just kind of ramble about my experiences on things. So that's the type of content you like, you're in the right place. So anyway, what is this show gonna be? Why are you tuning into this first episode? What piqued your interest, right? Well, I'm a gamer, just like so many of you guys, right? I love talking about video games. I love the video game world. I love getting lost in video games. I've been gaming since I was 5 or 6 years old. I'm 34 years old right now, so you can tell I'm from the stone ages of the late 1900s, as they call it now. So I'm from the 1980s, so I played with the original Nintendo, as well as the Sega Genesis, all these different consoles, right? So I'm so used to like console gaming, as well as now I have PCs and I have a whole closet full of other consoles that I can't show you right now. But nevertheless, I've got a wide variety of experience and just overall enjoyment that came from gaming in my life. And I just want to share some of those experiences with you guys. As well as I just want to talk about news. I want to talk about other things in terms of entertainment, from movies, comic book shows, whatever, as well as I want to bring other people onto this show to talk about their experiences with gaming and other forms of entertainment. I don't know. We're just going to go crazy with this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the future of this channel and what we're going to do with this show because I have a lot of stuff planned. I want to bring some of my friends on here. I want to ask other creators to come on here and talk to me, as well as I just want to go off. If I don't have anybody to come on here with me, like today, for example, I'm just going to go off on topics I want to talk about, all right? So that's what we're going to be doing. And for today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about some of these things and just focus on some not easier topics, but just some things that are a little bit more rudimentary today for me to talk about because, again, first episode, we're trying some new stuff, right? All right, so I want to talk about the games that I played in 2023 because, to be honest, this was one of the best years in my lifetime for gaming. The only other time I could think of a better time for gaming was back in 2009, I believe it was, 2008, 2009, when we got Modern Warfare 2, we got Wrath of the Lich King of World of Warcraft. It was just, that year, for whatever reason, sticks so fondly in my mind. It's hard to think of any year better than that, but 2023 was pretty freaking awesome for games. And I played a ton of games. I honestly didn't have enough time to play all the games I wanted to play that came out. I started playing some of those this year, so I don't really count them as last year. So let's just start off with what I played at the beginning of the year. Obviously played Hogwarts Legacy. Big Harry Potter fan. I don't have the stuff in here, but I have all the Harry Potter movies in their most rarest collector's versions, if that makes sense. But I have like the box sets that are super rare and you can't find them that much. Anyway, I love Harry Potter. I put over 40 hours into Hogwarts Legacy. I was a little disappointed in the game overall, only because it felt like they didn't have any plans beyond release, right? They had that, and then they had Quidditch, which that was not included in the game, which kind of hurt me because I was like, man, that would have been cool to like experience Quidditch, you know, in the game, you know, instead of having to wait for it to come out in like some weird multiplayer thing that's still not out a year later, which is kind of crazy. And they've got some sort of thing set up this year to talk about future content they're going to release finally, which is great, but it's 2024. I mean, we've gotten zero communication with them since the game came out last January, February, I think it was. Anyway, it came out a while ago and we have nothing. So, I mean, I like the game. It was a little boring. It was amazing for the Harry Potter world. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic for that. But it sucked at being an RPG. There was a lot of things in that game that didn't work very well. Like the choice system sucked. I didn't like that. The just overall RPG-ness. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, basically, because you know what an RPG is supposed to feel like. And that game did not feel like an RPG to me at times. So that kind of sucked in a sense. So then after that, I played Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm a massive Resident Evil 4 fan. I'm a massive Resident Evil fan in general. So naturally, I was going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake the moment it came out. And I did. I played a ton of it. I put only 46 hours into it because really, I played the game before, even though, yes, this was a brand new version of it. The bones of the story were the same, but I beat the crap out of the game. I loved it. I thought it was gorgeous. I thought they did an amazing job remastering this game and also just remaking the game. Capcom has done such a fantastic job with the remake so far. They've made them feel so fresh and new, from Resident Evil 2 Remake to Resident Evil 3 Remake, even though that one was a little bit more controversial. They did such a fantastic job with all the remakes so far, and Resident Evil 4 was definitely no small task, because that game, everybody was like, Capcom, whatever you do, do not touch Resident Evil 4. But they did, and it was probably the best decision they've ever made, because that game was absolutely fantastic, and I love playing it even today. I've been playing it off and on throughout the whole year, going back, and I've beaten it like 3 or 4 times now. I mean, I sped through a couple of them that's why the lower time. So I played Resident Evil 4. Sleeper game for me that I was not expecting to play at all, but I put in probably the second most amount of hours into, which is a little roguelike called Halls of Torment. If you have not played that game and you're a roguelike fan, you are missing out. That is one of the most fantastic games to come out this year. It is so simple, it is so small, but yet it has so much depth, and it is so addictingly fun. And if you have a Steam Deck like this, oh my goodness, it runs fantastic on the Steam Deck, obviously because it's a lightweight game. Or if you want to play it in between matches on Escape from Tarkov or something, go ahead, because it's freaking fun, man. I enjoy that game so much. It's been fun. I put 87 hours into it, and it's just fun. Like I said, if you love games that are horde survival games where you're like trying to survive against all these different entities coming at you, like thousands of enemies on screen, you're getting all these crazy abilities, you're like building these amazing characters to survive these rounds, that's one of the best games out there right now for it. Now, I've played Vampire Survivor, as well as now as Death Must Die. I played that as well. And honestly, Halls of Torment is still the better of all of them. It's so freaking fantastic. I can't even describe it. It's such a great game. So I played about 87 hours of that. Also, I replayed, because my PC was down for a while I was moving. I ended up replaying Fallout New Vegas for the 10th or 11th time. I don't know. I played that on the Steam Deck. Absolutely fantastic. It's one of the first games that I've played all the way through to completion on the Steam Deck this year, and I loved it. I can't say enough about Fallout New Vegas. I'm not going to go on about it because it's been out since 2009 or so-ish, so it's been out for a long time. But God, that game is still fantastic. One of my favorite games of all time, so I played that. One of the games I played in the summer when it came out was my first ever game like this, was Diablo 4. Absolutely love the game. I know it's controversial. I know a lot of people are bored with it. Whatever, it's season 3 now. I'm playing season 3 right now. It's been actually fun for me. I know that I'm in the minority, and I get it. For people who love the genre, yes. Is this game the best? Probably not. PoE or Path of Exile is definitely way far and beyond the better version of every type of Diablo game. Everybody says, I get it, but I love it. I'm a casual fan of this genre, so I'm just loving playing it at my own pace. I'm not blasting through it. I mean, I got my last season was the first season I've ever had a level 100 character, so that was fun. I did that, and now I'm trying to get another one this season because it's actually pretty fun. I put about 120 hours into this. I love Diablo 4. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, is it perfect? No. Is it kind of boring at times? Yes, because you're kind of doing the same monotonous tasks. But when they increase the leveling speed, that immediately made the game way better, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I was around the first time it came out. Then I also played Starfield, put about 53 hours into it. Honestly, the most disappointing Bethesda game I've ever played. I liked it, but it's so linear and the choices really don't matter that it just wasn't the game for me, and I didn't like it. So it's just, I mean, I hate it. I gave it a positive review on Steam overall because I love write reviews after I play a game. But I gave it like a 7 out of 10, which, yeah, is high for a game. It's not bad. But for a Bethesda game, it's really not that great, which is frustrating, and I don't like that. So I was really disappointed with Starfield. It had so much hype behind it. I think they went too big. They should have done what Knights of the Old Republic 2 did back in the day, where they had like 3 or 4 planets that you just explored, right? No, they weren't big, because this is an original Xbox game, for crying out loud. Of course, it wasn't very big, but I love that idea, because the way I'm looking at it is, if they went all in super hard on like 7 or 8 planets, just make them as much depth as possible on these planets, and really went all out, it would have been a much better game. But having thousands of planets that you just walk around on and there's nothing, boring. Then all the faction quests, most of them are really fun and cool, but in the grand scheme of it, when you get to the end, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I didn't really care about any of the stories or anything. I can go on for a while about Starfield, but anyways, put about 53 hours into that. Then I played for the first time. I know this is not a 2023 game, but I played for the first time Spider-Man Remaster from the PlayStation 4, basically. It's been out for a while, but it's fairly new on PC, so I played that for the first time. Put 25 hours into it, beat the main story, got all the collectibles. Tons of fun. Played it mostly on the Steam Deck also. Worked really well on the Steam Deck. I was actually surprised about that. Fantastic game. Looks beautiful. Runs well on both the PC and the Steam Deck. Very well optimized. Loved it. And I just liked the story. It was great. I had a great time playing. It's one of my favorite games of this year that I played, even though, yes, it's not a 2023 game. I played the new DMZ mode, or the old DMZ mode for Call of Duty, a lot. I put about 61 hours into that. I'm pretty sure they've abandoned it at this point. I didn't look that up before this video, but I think they abandoned it. So it really doesn't matter anymore. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm a big Escape from Tarkov fan, so I played that game a lot, put over 1,000 hours into the game. I love that game. And DMZ was kind of like a nice change of pace. It didn't feel like it was as high risk, high reward as Escape from Tarkov. So I did like it. I'm sad that they're not continuing on coverage of that, but it is what it is. Also, I beat Mass Effect 1 on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Again, put about 40 hours into that. That was a lot of fun. I always love Mass Effect. My favorite gaming franchise of all time. That trilogy is a masterpiece. I can go on about that for an hour, but I did beat the original Mass Effect. Again, when my PC was down, I played that on the Steam Deck. Completed another playthrough of that. And also, I played a game toward the end of the year that I ended up carrying into this year that I've been obsessed with, is Remnant 2. That is absolutely a fantastic game. If you have not played Remnant 2, it is Souls with guns. That's what everybody says, Dark Souls with guns. I think that's a little bit of an oversimplification. It's kind of like Dark Souls, but not really. It's a little bit easier than Elden Ring and Dark Souls, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's still got that challenge where you fight these big bosses. They require certain mechanics and they change, and you can go through different builds and try to beat them in different ways. So yeah, there is that. So I mean, like, it's got that element to it. I love it. It's got so much more depth than you would ever think. It's just constantly, like, me and my friend are just constantly playing it and finding new and more things to do, and it's just addicting. It's an addicting game loop, so we love the game, and it's absolutely fantastic, and I hope they release more DLC for that, because the last DLC was really good. Honorable mentions, I'm just going to mention these because I wanted to. These are games that are always installed on my PC, and I always play throughout the year, and I absolutely love, because they're good. Like, I don't know what to play, but I'm going to play these games, so if you've never played them before, these are going to be on your radar to play. RTS games, always on my PC, is going to be Heroes Might and Magic 3, Heroes Might and Magic 5, both fantastic games, Rome Total War, Stronghold Crusader, and then one game that I rebeat this year, which is absolutely fantastic. Love this game, is Resident Evil 7. Again, big Resident Evil fan. I love playing through it again. Resident Evil 7 is next to Resident Evil 4 and 2 Remake are probably my favorite games of all time in the Resident Evil franchise. So definitely recommend playing Resident Evil 7 if you have not. And yeah, that's pretty much the full context around my 2023 in terms of gaming. You may have noticed I left out a particular game that is the game of the year, and that is Baldur's Gate 3. Why did I not play Baldur's Gate 3? I mean, I used to play World of Warcraft back in the day. I mean, you can see them right there. I got the original box sets right there for World of Warcraft, the original Wrath of the Lich King and Burning Crusade. I played the crap out of World of Warcraft. I've played tons of RTSs, RPGs, all the Bethesda games. I'm like a huge like fantasy. I love this stuff, right? Dungeons and Dragons. Why did I not play Baldur's Gate 3? Can I be honest? The game is scary. I know that sounds ridiculous. I don't have the time to play that game. The way they present the game is you can do whatever you want as many times as you want, and you can never pretty much get the same results, and you can get whatever result you want. And that terrifies me about a video game. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know. And just to put a bow on this so you understand. Like, I love games that have a lot of depth. Like, for example, the Mass Effect games, right? I love the Mass Effect trilogy. I love how the first game's decisions affect the last game's decisions, right? But there's a limit to it, right? You can do only so much in this game or the second game or the third game to make things really matter, right? And I've done all of them, right? And like, yeah, I spent hundreds of hours doing it, but I've done all of them, right? With Baldur's Gate, people are still figuring out, after this game's been out for so long, and obviously it's just been a year, but this game's been out for a while now, and there's still endless possibilities for how to do things in a scenario, and it just doesn't end. And some people love that. They love that philosophy. They love the amount of things you can do. They love the lore. They love the aesthetics. They love just what you can do. It's just, for me, I can't do that anymore. I'm too old to be playing games like that. I mean, when I was in my 20s and even as a teenager, sure, I mean, I had time to do it, but legitimately, if I had nothing else to play this past year, like I played a lot of video games this year. If I had nothing else to play this year, I probably would have played Baldur's Gate 3 because there's nothing else to play. Because, I mean, but I was so swamped with other games to play that the thought of being so heavily invested into a game like Baldur's Gate 3 scared me. I know that sounds ridiculous that a video game scared me, but I didn't want to become obsessed with it, and that was all I played and all I wanted to do. It doesn't mean I will never play the game. Just 2023 was not the year to do it. Like, this year is actually kind of lining up to be a softer year for games. I mean, there's some things that maybe I don't know about, but going through the list, it just didn't look crazy. So maybe I might get into it this year, but last year, I'm telling you, when that game came out and I was watching people play the game, man, I was just like, I don't know. It looks cool. It really does. But I was just like, I don't know if this game is for me. I'm going to pass on it right now. All right, so I want to talk about a gaming franchise that is near and dear to my heart, and it's near and dear to a lot of you guys' hearts because you apparently love the crap out of this trailer that got released for GTA 6, a little game called GTA 6. Most people have heard of it. I mean, it's coming out eventually. I mean, the release date is what, 2025, which is absolutely ridiculous. But date aside, I am a huge GTA fan. Like, I know they're raunchy games. I know I shouldn't have been playing GTA 3 when I was 12, 13 years old, whatever. I was young when I was playing GTA 3 back on the original PlayStation 2. That was the first game I got with my PlayStation 2 was GTA 3. Should not have been playing that game at my age, for sure. I'm glad as a kid and young adult, I had some good parenting and they were able to explain things to me because some of the stuff I was doing in that game was absolutely insane. Anyway, so I've been playing GTA since the very first one on PlayStation. I played all the GTAs, every single one of them. Not missed one. I've loved every one of them. They've all been great games. My favorite one, of course, is GTA San Andreas. By far the best game in the franchise. They did things that were revolutionary for the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. Man, that game was absolutely fantastic. They did so much to help push gaming, and I love that game. GTA 4 was not my favorite, but it is really good, as well as GTA 3 and Vice City. And 5 I really liked a lot. 5 was absolutely fantastic. GTA Online I never really got into because I just could not keep up with it because I was trying to move on to other things and whatnot. So did not play much of GTA Online, but it's a huge success. That's why they've delayed releasing GTA 6 for this long. But anyway, we got the trailer last year. Most successful trailer, by far the most successful video game trailer of all time. Absolutely fantastic. Blew up the internet. Major news outlets are talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. This game is absolutely one of the most anticipated games of all time. It's much deserved. We haven't gotten a game since what, 2013? It's been a long freaking time. The game's coming out 2025. Not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. I mean, I'm going to be 36 years old when this comes out. So, I mean, this friggin' sucks. I want to play it right now. But I can't control that. I mean, it is what it is. I'll play it when it comes out. I'm looking forward to it. But it just, oh, man, I want to play it sooner rather than later. But I know Rockstar, they rarely have misses. They always win. Red Dead 2, absolutely fantastic game. Bully, absolutely fantastic game. Why am I upset and disappointed about GTA 6 so far? Release date sucks. Gameplay looks incredible. Visually, if those are the actual in-game graphics, which they're saying they are very close, my goodness, mind-blowing. I can't believe it. I'm mad because there is no PC day one release. I know that they've done that in games in the past. They did it with Red Dead. They did it with GTA 5. I get it. That's Rockstar. They've done this before. But this is going to be now 2025. You're telling me that we're still doing this stuff in 2025 coming up. Why? I mean, what's the reasoning? I get it. Maybe they want to double dip because they can. Because of people like me. I'm going to freaking probably buy a PlayStation 5 to play this game day one. I'm not even joking. Or an Xbox. I don't want to buy an Xbox because redundancy, because I can do everything on this PC that I can do on Xbox with Xbox Game Pass, whatever. Anyway, they're going to make people like me who are stupid. Just keep that in mind. I am dumb. I get it. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5. I don't have one. I used to. Got stolen. But anyway, I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 to play GTA 6 day one because I do not want to miss out on the day one release. And then a year, 2 years later, I'm going to buy that crap on PC so I can play at higher graphics and frames. That's why they're doing it. They're not doing it for any other reason besides the double dip. Can you blame them? Because people like me are going to do it? No. Does it piss me off? Yes, it does, because I don't want to spend PlayStation 5, GTA 6, then buy it on PC again. I don't want to do that, but they're going to make me do it. That's why I'm mad about GTA 6, because they're getting me. Dang it, man. I don't want to do that. But man, all jokes aside, this game looks fantastic. I can't wait. I'm so freaking ready for a new GTA game. It's been so long. I'm ready for it because, I don't know, it's just that world of being in this kind of, I don't know, this city. And I hope that they, I don't know what they're going to add to it. I can't wait for more release stuff. I'm going to kind of not go off on it too much more. But yeah, that's more or less why I'm disappointed in GTA 6 right now. I want to talk about the most recent phenomenon, which is a little game that came out on July 18th called Palworld. Most people call it the Pokémon with guns game. I have not played it yet. So again, a game that I'm just like, I'm not sure if it's time yet. And I have my reasonings for it, but let's go through some of these stats real quick. So as of January 29th, these are the stats. So it's the number one most played game to start 2024 by a mile. It's easily the number one game. It's the most streamed game. All the numbers. It's basically breaking all the records. Right now, as of the first 24 hours of the game being live, it sold over 2 million copies, which is absolutely bananas. And then as of January 29th, like I said, it has sold over 8 million copies. Absolutely insane. It's really off to a bang start for this being an early access game that's only 60% done, according to the developers. Now, that's the point that gets me. I played Escape from Tarkov in early access, and it's come a long way. But again, I invested into it and it was fine, but like it's gotten significantly better over time, right? And I would say that this is the version of Escape from Tarkov you need to play, like by a mile, right? I wouldn't have played it. I told my friends to stay away from it. The ones that were interested in it, I said, no, this is not the game. You're not gonna like this. It's an early access. I've already invested. Just avoid it. It's a lot like Palworld, right? I know people are going crazy on it. I know people are having a good time, but for me, this in terms of what I'm interested in, this is too early for me to invest into the game. Like from what I understand, you can't even name your character. I mean, I know that seems simple. You can't even name your character yet. It's just that rudimentary in the early access phase. I love how the developers have already come out and laid out a roadmap, or they're starting to kind of come up with one, which is great. I'm grateful that they're starting to do that. And it's exciting. I mean, like the one thing that I really will say is that a lot of people are saying that it's not necessarily the best single player game because there's just nothing going on in the world. You feel very lonely. But when you play with friends, it makes it a lot better. Now, this is the one thing I should have looked up, but it seemed kind of funny when I heard it. But there was a glitch where you could actually go into a server with 32 people, and that wasn't intended. It was supposed to be a lot less, but that's cool. I think they should keep that. If it's not a glitch, or if it's a feature that's later, they need to keep that because that's pretty cool. You can go with 32 of your friends. It's like creating your own little Minecraft server, which is kind of where I want to go with this topic. Is this the next Minecraft? I know it's designed to be Pokemon with guns, but it looks more like Minecraft in the sense that, like, if Minecraft had things you captured and had do things for you, like build things or whatever. Like the building elements just seem amazing. Like in terms of having your little pal characters actually building stuff for you. They're actually defending your place. They're actually doing all these things. That's really cool. I love that, right? It really does feel more like Minecraft to me than anything. Maybe more like Valheim meets Minecraft meets Ark meets Pokemon, right? So it's got like a lot of things going for it. So with that being said, there's a lot of people mad at Palworld because of the fact that they are saying that it's ripped off Pokemon, right? And for all intents and purposes, it is. I mean, I heard that the head person of this development crew, or I'm sorry, I forget the terminology. I'm not perfect with this. But anyway, the head person, basically, he was talking about how much he loves AI, right? He loves AI generated things. He thinks it's the future of gaming. He's on record saying that, right? And the thing that is very easy to do is to take Pokemon images, put them in an AI generator to come up with different versions of those. And that's all, for all intents and purposes, what they did. Because some of these things look exactly like some of the Pokemon. So I agree with the outrage of some of the people who are diehard Pokemon fans, why they would be upset with this. But I don't think that that's why they're really upset. I'm just going to be honest. I think they're mad. And I would wager if we went through and polled everybody, this is why they're mad. Because Pokemon sucks. I know that's controversial. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I played all the Game Boy games. I even got some of the Pokemon cards in my office. I love Pokemon. But I haven't played a Pokemon game in a long time for a reason. They all suck. I mean, legitimately, ever since they went 3D, they have not been good. The 2D versions were where Pokemon was at its best. The moment they went 3D, open world, whatever they've been doing, has not worked. It's been awful. Most people have not liked it. It's not worked. Palworld did what Pokemon could not. They made capturing monsters and making them do whatever you want fun and addicting. So that's, to me, why people who are huge Pokemon fans hate this game, because they're mad because Pokemon will not do or Nintendo will not put the pedal to the metal to do what Palworld's doing right now. Seriously, it's that, like, Palworld is revolutionary from the standpoint of they're not doing really anything new. They're taking all the best elements from games like Breath of the Wild, from Ark, from Pokemon there, and they're putting all these things together and making a really fun and addictive gameplay. So really cool. I'm glad that Palworld exists. I will not be playing it right away. I might play it eventually, but it's just one of those things where I need the game to be a little bit further along, because I've invested into early access games before, and I've really regretted it because I want more. But it's only $30. That's the great thing, is it's only $30, so it's actually a cheap buy, and you can play it on Game Pass because it's on Xbox. So if you're just in a Palworld, give it a shot and let me know how it is in the comments, because I don't know, like it's sold 8 million copies for a reason, so maybe I'm the dummy for missing out. Who knows? All right, so now I want to talk about my top 5 favorite games of 2023. Now, these games weren't all released in 2023, but they were new to me in 2023, if that makes sense. So the 5th game on my list is going to be Spider-Man Remaster. Again, I know this game came out a long time ago, but it was absolutely fantastic and a joy to play. I am admittedly not a huge beat-em-up game fan, meaning you're just fighting waves of bad guys as a superhero and beating things up. Now, I will say I like the Arkham games. I played the first 2. I didn't play the 3rd one. My friend always gives me crap about that, but I intend to go back and play it at some point, maybe this year. I don't know. I'm going to get to it eventually, but this is my first time actually really diving in deep and enjoying a game like this. Because, again, I don't know, it just, there's nothing more magical than swinging around as Spider-Man through the city. I don't care about anything else. I didn't want to fast travel. I literally just wanted to go from point A to point B, swinging around the city. That was absolutely one of the most enjoyable things about the game. The fighting part, okay, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. The story was pretty good. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, but I thought it was good enough and I enjoyed it enough to want to play the game more. The grindy elements of it, didn't love it, didn't hate it, whatever. But dude, seriously, swinging through the city as Spider-Man is, I don't know, it's breathtaking. It's fun. The city's beautiful. It's huge. It feels It feels amazing. It really does. It feels amazing. As he is called the Amazing Spider-Man, it is definitely one of the best games that I played in 2023. Next up is Diablo 4. I mentioned this earlier, but I know Diablo 4 is a controversial game in the gaming space. People love it, they hate it. A lot of people really hate the fact that they went more casual with this game and didn't focus on the hardcore audience. But again, I know people hate it, but they brought a lot of people who have never been introduced to this genre, been interested into this genre, into this game with the elements that they actually included. Me being one of them. I absolutely did not like this genre of games. I thought it was boring. I didn't like the angle of the camera. I don't know, it just seemed like too much for me. Like Diablo 3, Path of Exile was way too much. Like I'm never gonna get into those games. They're way too complicated for me. I didn't like it. But Diablo 4, I don't know, they just captured me. Everybody was playing it, and I'm not usually the type of person to jump into a game that everybody's playing. But when I started playing it, I legitimately was having a really good time. I enjoyed the complexities of it, while I also enjoyed the simplicities of it. It was actually not that complicated of a game when you get into it. I love the different builds, I love the different characters, the lore, the story. I don't really care about too much. It was okay. I like the dark elements of it. Necromancer was by far my favorite character to play in all the seasons I played so far, because I played all 3 of them. I didn't play much of season 1, got kind of bored of it. But season 2, I got my character to level 100, as well as in season 3 I'm playing right now. I've got my character to level 50. I'm approaching 100. I'll get there sooner rather than later. I just love the game. It's absolutely fantastic. That's my number 4 on the list. Now, my number 3 on the list is another genre I got introduced to, which was Halls of Torment and the roguelike genre. My goodness, what a freaking fantastic little game. It's not the most complicated game. It's not the most challenging game. It's a very pixelated, like kind of, old school game look, but I love it. It's just absolutely fun. It runs well on the Steam Deck. I love just playing it. Like if I got a quick 30 minutes, I just want to do a quick run. I love knocking it out. I love going for all the achievements. They're all really fun, and some of them are very challenging and rewarding when you get them. I love like the summon archetypes where you can just build like this huge army of minions to fight with you. I love all the abilities where you can just do all the different things like cause complete chaos, fighting these thousands and thousands of units. And the developers are just so amazing at updating the game frequently. That's what I love about it so much, is that the developers are so fantastic at just keeping the community always on the hook for what's next, because they are so quick to release content, and I love it. Halls of Torment, absolutely 10 out of 10, fantastic game. If you have not played it, you're doing yourself a disservice, because that's one of the best games to come out 2023. It's a sleeper game. You definitely need to play it. My number 2 favorite game of this year, and I know it's kind of like a sleeper because I started playing it basically in December, but it did come out this year, and I did start playing it this year, was Remnant 2. Absolutely fantastic game. Again, if you're into any type of Dark Souls type game, man, this is one of the best ones. I'm serious. It's absolutely great because it's not as challenging as other Dark Souls games. Like, I feel like it got a lot of the Elden Ring treatment, meaning like, okay, Remnant from Ashes is actually a harder game than Remnant 2. I went back and played Remnant from Ashes, which was the first game, which they quickly abandoned, and that game was friggin' hard compared to Remnant 2. So I feel like Remnant 2 is a much more accessible game, just like how Elden Ring was for Dark Souls players who have never played the genre before, because I loved Elden Ring. I played the crap out of it, and I loved it. Anyways, so if you're looking for a game that gives you a ton of depth, a ton of different things to do, and gives you a really expansive world once you start to really understand what's going on and how the game works, this game is absolutely fantastic. There's so many secrets, there's so many different things that can happen. The worlds, whether you like this or not, are procedurally generated. So when you go into a situation, like let's say you go and re-roll a world, you go into this world, it may be completely different from the last time you went into it. The DLC is great. All the archetypes are great. They give you tons of flexibility. The weapons are really cool. There's like even the simplest of things, like these tiny little details make the game so much better. You can build these crazy builds that have these fire tornadoes and all this craziness, or you can be this marksman that goes for all the red damage, high critical, weak spot damage. I don't know. Just rambling. Fantastic game. Remnant 2, one of the best games I've played in years. Absolutely fantastic game. No secret what's number 1, right? I'm a massive Resident Evil fan, so what's going to be my number 1 game of the year? Resident Evil 4. It's absolutely great. I would say that Dead Space Remake would be on this list, but I didn't play it in 2023. I played it this year. So that's going to be on this year's list. But Resident Evil 4, absolutely fantastic game, because Dead Space Remake would be up here at number 1 or number 2 because that was actually fantastic as well. Again, just to clarify. But Resident Evil 4, let's talk about that for a minute. So I played Resident Evil 4, the original, on the GameCube, the little tiny discs. Absolutely fantastic experience. I actually borrowed my nephew's GameCube because I didn't have one. I was like, give me that. I need to play Resident Evil 4. Absolutely great game. I loved it back in the day. I've had it on GameCube. I've had it on PlayStation 2. I've had it on Xbox 360, Xbox One. I have all the copies of the game in there. So I bought Resident Evil 4 so many times that when they were saying they were completely remaking the game, I had to. I just couldn't. I'm that addicted to the game. So I was nervous because I was like, man, they have so much riding on this game, because if they screw this up, man, they're going to ruin the remakes completely, because they've done such a good job so far. So the fact that they actually not only nailed this, but they made it better. They made it better than the original Resident Evil 4. I don't know how they did it. I don't know. I'm still shocked because it was so good. It was so good. And again, I know I'm a fanboy, so I'm going to be raving about this. But objectively, you play this game, you've never played it before, I would say you need to, because this is that good of a game. If you just like any type of survival game, horror game, or anything like that, this is a great survival horror game. 10 out of 10, by far my favorite game of 2023. All right, so I want to talk about my most anticipated games of 2024. So the list is short. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know much what's coming out in 2024 outside of these games. And if I see more, I will definitely add them to my list and talk about them in future videos. But this is all I know about so far. The first game on my list is an Obsidian game, and I love Obsidian. By far my favorite studio. They came out with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, one of my favorite games of all time. Came out with Fallout New Vegas, came out with Outer Worlds, many other games. They absolutely have my attention. Anytime Obsidian's releasing a game, I'm gonna give it a shot. Even though maybe Outer Worlds did not meet my expectations, still gonna give every Obsidian game a shot. Avowed looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play that game. Trust Obsidian. The one thing I'm nervous about is what they did in Outer Worlds. They did not make the story as robust as I would like, because the one thing I love about New Vegas, the one thing I love about KOTOR 2 is the fact that you can make decisions that you've never made before every time you play it. And it's kind of going back to that Baldur's Gate 3 thing, where like you're constantly going through and making new things happen. Well, that's what Obsidian is known for. And that's what I'm looking forward to in Avowed. Hopefully they can make that happen again, because Outer Worlds kind of fell short of that. It felt like it was a little bit watered down from what they usually do. So I hope they ramp it back up with Avowed, but the gameplay looks freaking fantastic. It looks like so much fun. Can't wait to play this game. It's going to be great. There's another little game coming out, another remaster, remake. I don't know exactly what it is. I haven't seen this. I need to look into it a little bit more. But Star Wars Dark Forces remake. I love the original Star Wars Dark Forces remake on the Xbox. That was freaking fun. It's like a little Stormtrooper game. It's very simple. I really enjoyed that, so I'm actually looking forward to that. And another game that I'm not really familiar with because I didn't play the first one is a Capcom game called Dragon's Dogma 2. I didn't play the first one, but everybody is hyped out of their minds for the second one. And I'm definitely going to play this day one because it looks great. Visually looks great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing that. As well as Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. That should be coming out this month in February, coming up. From what I've seen, they typically like to release their stuff in February. I'm a big Elden Ring fan, and I really hope that this can get me back into the game, because I still need to do a few things in the game, but I have finding myself having a hard time getting drawn back in. So I'm actually looking forward to playing the expansion because I love freaking Elden Ring. It's so great. I put hundreds of hours into it. Great game. So I can't wait to get back into that universe. Stalker 2 coming out September. That's a long way away. Stalker, I've never played the first one, but the second one, man, the visuals look amazing. Oh, the game looks great. I can't wait to play that. It's just, I don't know much about the game, but I just love the way it looks. I love the way how gritty it looks and how it feels. It just looks like a lot of fun. Can't play that. Can't wait to play that. And then the last one is Silent Hill 2 Remake. No release date on that, but they've been talking about this for a while. I don't know where Silent Hill went. They were going to have Norman Reedus in one of them. I don't know what's going on, but they need to come out with something Silent Hill related because it's been too long since we've had a Silent Hill game. And I'm looking forward to whatever they do here with the Silent Hill 4 or Silent Hill 2 remake and whatever they do in the future with Silent Hill because we need that back. All right, so that's it for the first episode of the Max Vasconcelos Show. I really hope you enjoyed it because we're going to be doing a lot more of this. I'm going to be giving more of my thoughts, unfiltered, on various topics, as well as I'm hoping to bring on a couple of friends of mine, as well as some other creators here over time to just interview and talk to them about their experiences and talk to them about, I don't know, games or whatever they want to talk about. So we're definitely going to start adding people into the show to make it a little bit more diverse and interesting. So that way it's not just me rambling in front of a screen all day. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys watching this first episode and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.